Behind me is the Nissan Patrol. Now, it's the mighty competitor to the Toyota Land Cruiser, and well, should you spend just over $15,000 on the Patrol Warrior that is to my right, or to your right, left, if you're watching, or should you spend the money on the Patrol TI? Now, we've come out here as part of this drive to test both cars out, and let me run you through what you get as an extra on the Patrol Warrior so that you can make up your mind if you think it's worthwhile. Now, at the end of it, I'll give you my impressions of the drive, but also my impressions from experience owning different four-wheel drives and having spent tens of thousands of dollars on modifications on each car over the years to let you know whether I think that $15,000 is good value or if you could potentially do it for cheaper. So come through with me. The Patrol Warrior. Now, it's by Premcar. It's a collaboration of sorts between Nissan Australia and Premcar Australia. The car itself is reworked in many different areas. So you'll see the front has a striking difference in terms of the way it looks. So it is a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So 50 mil taller, 40 mil wider. The suspension is also modified to increase the GVM by approximately 48 kilos. You also have a lot more black covering all the bits that used to be chrome on the Patrol TI. The Patrol TI is approximately just a little over 90,000 plus on-road cost for that. Your typical dealership currently on several marketplaces and dealer websites that I've researched are currently selling them for approximately $95-ish thousand. But then to jump to a Warrior, you're looking at approximately $115 to $120. The Warrior, however, is approximately $105,000 or just a little bit over plus on-road costs for that. So like I said, just over that $15,000 difference between the two cars. And starting with that suspension. Now, if you were to go for a suspension on average on a four-wheel drive, you're typically going to spend about $3,000 to $5,000 for a good suspension system that will give you that 50 mil lift. The advantage to going this particular suspension upgrade is you're getting yourself a factory warranted upgrade to the suspension, and it's more than enough for what you're going to do on most four-wheel drive adventures and off-road trips. If you're going to do a lot more customized four-wheel driving, it may not suit you, but for the average Australian consumer that's doing a suspension lift through someone like ARB, TJM or Ironman, that there is really, really good value as part of the first thing that gets done on this car. Because don't forget, this car now comes with a 10-year, 300,000 kilometer warranty, providing you service it through your Nissan dealer for that period of time. So that's a long time to have factory-backed warranty on all of your adventures around Australia. The other thing is you get an upgrade and a change to the alloy wheels and the tires. You go to a Yokohama Geo15, which are one of my favorite off-road tires. These ones here are quite aggressive, all-terrain tires without giving you a huge amount of off-road noise. They're perfect for 99% of the off-roading you might do. They're good on mud. They're not full mud terrain tires. So if you are solely doing heavy mud work, you definitely will want to go for a more mud terrain tire. But again, for the average consumer, this is a really, really good tire. And that tire there has a really strong construction as well. So on a previous car, I had them for 3 years. I actually had the same puncture for the 3 years that I had one tire because I kept forgetting to take the nail out and go and get the puncture repaired. And every four-wheel drive trip, I would remember that that puncture was there. So I'd air the tire down and air it back up and then go, oh, I've got to go get that fixed and then forget. And that was a process that kept repeating itself for about 3 years. So don't do what I do, but I can tell you from personal experience using Yokohama Geo15s on a number of cars now, these are a fantastic tire choice by Nissan. So again, really, really good choice. Moving along the side, you got the decals. They would be, I don't know, somewhere around a couple of $100 if you went and got them yourself. I personally am not a fan of them, but I guess some people want other people to know that you're in a Warrior and you're not in a normal TI. The other thing that you'll notice that's different down here is the exhaust. So it has a bi-module exhaust system on this car. It sounds absolutely mint on the road, particularly on the open highway. It sounds so, so good. Or going through tunnels at the legal speed limit. The exhaust itself, again, you're probably going to be spending somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 for a really good quality exhaust. I've recently had a really good quality axle back exhaust put onto one of my other cars, which is the Lexus LS460 that you can see on my channel. That exhaust there cost me just a little under $1,000 for that. And that's not a full exhaust upgrade, which this is. So again, I think value-wise, Like, that's fantastic. We're already at somewhere between that halfway mark of what it would cost you to go for a standard Patrol and the Patrol Warrior. Moving around to the rear, not much change other than a black Warrior badge. You do have a customized tow bar at the back that allows you to have a full-size spare wheel that matches the other wheels out there. So that there in itself, I don't know if you'd put a financial value on that, but the comfort of having a full-size spare that matches all your other rims and tires is actually a lot of peace of mind for those people that are taking this around the country and going into some remote areas. But even the tow bar itself, it's about $1,000 usually for a genuine tow bar, give or take, installed. So again, that's another dollar value there. Opening this back up in the back, there's no change. You still have your split fold third row seats, split fold middle row, and the interior doesn't really change. The additional space underneath here is exactly the same. So for the most part, that part there remains relatively untouched and unchanged. Now, I know I said not much has changed with the rear of it. It does have slightly different customized rear bumpers, front bumper, and fender flares. One of the big customizations as part of that tow bar customization that is on the Warrior is that you get the built-in recovery points onto the sides there. Again, that there in itself, depending on who you go for and what you use, is probably worth somewhere between $500 and $1,500, depending on the place that you go to it, to get them done. So again, you're getting some really good value on some accessories that genuinely you would be at the mercy of a third-party supplier to warrant that type of activity with the car off-road, which when you're spending almost $100,000 on a car in a standard TI form, and then you're going and modifying it for off-road use, and then you're having to rely on whoever you just paid $1,000 to $2,000 for a rear tow bar and recovery point setup to warrant it in case it snaps off and goes flying or starts rusting a little bit too early. I kind of think the peace of mind of having Nissan do all of it for you through Premcar before you take delivery of the car as part of their actual model, so that you can take that peace of mind away when you're going off-roading and going on your adventures, that all of this stuff that may be compromised by a cheaper part has been done to Nissan's standard, so that it is factory standard, factory fit, and factory peace of mind for the warranty. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that as well. I'm very, very curious to know what you think. Moving to the front, there's a couple things. Moving to the front, you'll notice that there's a bash plate underneath that says Warrior, and it's also red. That's part of the other change to the car. So as you can see, there's a number of small little changes and some very big changes that quickly add up as you start spending that money to get a really good car with really good accessories, kitted up and ready for the road. And quite frankly, I think the Warrior is exceptional value if you're considering buying a TI and doing some of these modifications yourself, particularly the exhaust, because it sounds really good and it's just all factory backed. So you're not going to have any issues with Nissan saying that something wasn't, done correctly, and then you're not covered for something key and major that may be connected to whatever part you've installed. And you're getting the peace of mind that it's all good and ready to go. In terms of the interiors, everything is basically unchanged. Obviously on the 2025 models, you now have a massive digital display, and you also have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto all built in a correct position. But the rest of the car between the TI and the Warrior, they're basically the same. It's purely more of an off-road focus. So if you want that, this is a perfect off-road focused car that's comfortable for day-to-day driving around the city. If you're after something that is going to be more suited to luxury, driving around town, getting your latte on the weekend and during the week, perhaps the TIL might actually be better value for money for you, where you get a really luxury and premium car, but you save a little bit of money compared to what you would pay for the Warrior. Let me know in the comments what you think, and would you choose a Nissan Patrol TI or would you choose the Warrior?